Hi guys, how you doing? um, Today I'm gonna be kind of chit-chatting with you a little bit about the law of three or the rule of three. Um, and it's just basic information, um, nothing that experienced Wiccans or pagans don't already know. But I feel like if I were if I were a new fledgling into Wicca or paganism, and I didn't have my own space, my own house, and I wasn't free to go to the bookstore and buy these books and keep them in my room for reference, or if I didn't feel like I could safely go on the internet and research websites on information, that at least I would have someone that would understand and kind of provide me with basic information and kind of point me in the right direction. So that's what my videos have basically been on, my previous videos and this one. So just basic information, um, just for those that are seeking guidance. If you have questions, or if you need help with anything, or just want some a specific video on a specific topic, let me know and I'll do it for you. Um, the law of three. So many new Wiccans and pagans are initiated into a coven or group by elders or a high priestess. And when they are initiated into their group, they are generally given the cautionary words of "Ever mind the law of three." I was given those words. I am a solitary witch now, but as I first started getting into Wicca and paganism, I was part of a coven, and my high priestess did initiate me with those words, "Ever mind the law of three." And those words, it's, their meaning is that no matter what you do magically, there's this gigantic cosmic force out there that will make sure that your deeds, magically and non-magically, will be returned to you threefold. So that's the law of three. The law of three, also called, my dog is eating things that she's not supposed to be eating. I don't know what she's eating. The law of three, or the rule of three, or the law of three. It's, like I said, it's a caveat given to newly initiated witches in some magical traditions. Not all. The purpose of the law of three is cautionary. It keeps people who have just discovered Wicca, or who have just been initiated into their new coven or group, from thinking that they have all this magical superpowers now that they're part of this, excellent working group. And it also keeps people from performing negative magic without putting some serious thought into the consequences. I think an early incarnation of the law of three appeared in a book called High Magic's Aid. And I think the author of that book is Gerald Gardner. And a quote from his book about the law of three is, "Mark well, when thou receivest good, so equally art bound to return good threefold." The law of three later was published in a magazine as a poem in, I think, the late 1970s, and then later it kind of evolved into the notion into this notion among new witches that there is a spiritual law in effect that everything you do comes back to you. So why is the law of three practical? No one in my situation, and from what I have witnessed, no one likes the idea of pagans and Wiccans running around, or new pagans or Wiccans running around like Harry Potter, flinging curses and hexes at each other willy-nilly. So the law of three is actually there to make people stop and think before they act. Quite simple. It's the concept of cause and effect. When crafting a spell, any competent Wiccan and pagan is going to stop and think about the end results of their working. If the possible ramifications of one's actions will likely be negative, that may the law of three will make us stop and say, hey, I better rethink this, or is this a good idea? Although the law of three does, when pagans and Wiccans are first starting out and they first discover the craft, the law of three to them sounds prohibitive. But as Wiccans grow and mature, they in turn start seeing the law of three as a standard to live by. It allows you to set boundaries for yourself by saying, am I prepared to accept the consequences, be they good or bad, for my deeds, both magically and non-magically. And I always get this question, why the number 3? And 3 is a magical number. It's always been known as a magical number. And really, when it comes to paybacks, the idea of 3 times regifted is fairly, ambiguous. This is an example. If you whack someone on the nose, does it mean you'll get your nose punched 3 times? No. But it does mean but it could mean that you'll show up for work one day and your boss will have heard about you, whacking someone on the nose, and then you'll get fired because your boss doesn't tolerate brutality or brawlers. So that's an example of law of 3. Sorry. She's being bad today. So that's, the law of 3. You hit someone on the nose at work and then you're fired because your boss found out that you hit someone on the nose. So you didn't get, so your ramifications are, I didn't get hit on the nose, but what I got was 3 times as bad. I got fired. Law of 3. Other interpretations. Some pagans use a different interpretation of the law of 3, but still maintain that it prevents irresponsible behavior. One of the most sensible adaptations that I've heard and that I like is that it's quite simply your actions affect you on 3 separate levels: physical, emotional, and spiritual. This means that before you act, you need to consider how your deeds will impact your body, your mind, and your soul. So, I think that's not a bad way of looking at it. There's another one that I found that's a really good one, and it's the law of it interprets the law of three in a cosmic sense. So what you do in this current lifetime that we're in now, you will be re-gifted upon you. So what you do in this lifetime will be re-gifted upon you 3 times, and 3 times more intently in your next life. And likewise, the things that are happening to you in this lifetime, be it good or bad, are the paybacks for the actions in previous lifetimes. So, those of you that accept the concept of reincarnation, that adaptation of the law of 3 may, help you to relate a little more than the traditional interpretation. Some traditions of Wicca, coven members initiated into the upper degree levels may use the law of 3 as a way of giving back that which they had received. So in other words, what other people do to you, you are permitted to return to them threefold, whether it's good or bad. I don't know if I necessarily believe that one. Ultimately, whether you accept the law of 3 as a cosmic morality, or simply a part of life's, instruction manual, it is up to you to govern your own behaviors. The law of 3 is all about taking ownership of our actions, and accept personal responsibility, and always think before you act. So that is my little rendition of the law of 3. Hopefully you were able to follow, and it was simple enough. So again, if you have questions, if you have comments, please video respond. I would love to hear your guys' interpretation of the law of 3. So I will be back with more information for you. Have a great day. Blessed be.